sir. Thank you very much. Very good morning to all of you. We are delighted to see all of you this morning, to have you here with us to share. I'm really honored to be on the same stage with such an illustrious panel. Today we're going to be talking about youth leadership in talent management, skills, careers, and community impact. So our panelists today will be talking about essential skills for youth leadership, strategies for community impact, policy recommendations for engagement. I guess what I'll probably do is I'll introduce Fahmi here, President of ABIM, Ibrahim Sani, who's the CEO of Yayasan Peneraju, and Dato' Arif, who's the co-founder of SEED, if I understand correctly. So I'll give a little bit of more of an introduction as we introduce each speaker. So I think we'll do about 10 minutes each for 10 plus minutes, and then after that there'll be a Q&A from the floor. That's okay. So our very kind timekeeper will be over there. So you can just keep a lookout once in a while. She'll flash 3 minutes. One of us will remind you, but if you can also have a look over there. Okay, so I tend to like to jump straight into things without very long introductions. So we'll just go down the panel, that's okay. So my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Saudara Fahmi Samsudin, President of ABIM. He's a very old friend. I've had the good fortune of working with ABIM over very many years. So when it comes to youth activism in Malaysia, these guys are at the forefront. They've done a lot of good work, especially reaching out across to not only within Muslim communities, Malay communities, but also within to non-Muslim communities, doing a lot of outreach. And they've done a lot of really great work. It's actually from ABIM that we started talking about Bangsa Malaysia in a way that inspired a lot of us, which we ended up with Project Bangsa Malaysia. So without further ado, could you please welcome Saudara Fahmi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Mr. Ibrahim and Dato' Arif. I would like to thanks to the organizing committee for inviting me to be part of this parallel session. I will definitely share with every one of you here the way how we did, especially in ABIM. We were established since 1971, now is 53 years. And some of the agency, and perhaps I think if you look at the bigger perspective, I would like to share some of the thought made by Professor Dr. Syed Khairuddin Al-Junaid, where he mentioned clearly about 3 major consciousness that we need to have. One is on the historical consciousness, second is on the reform consciousness, and the other one is on the intellectual and activism consciousness. So I will start first by sharing with every one of you here some of our agency, and these are among the things that the one that we work for the past many years, and the one who work to run the movement and organization is among the youth. So in Malaysia in particular, right now we still have young people considered at a very large age until 40 years old, and in 2026 the government we reduce the age limit of young from 40 years old to 30 years old in 2006. So we have Adab Youth Garage, Global Peace Mission, and ABIM as an umbrella entity. Next. Saya kena control ke ataupun boleh ni? Next. Boleh. Dia bagi saya tadi. Okay. So I will start first with Adab Youth Garage. So these are among the entity that we provide to the young people who definitely stay at the urban setting, especially those who finish their school and they don't have much place for them to lepak, to stay on. And we understand the issue pertaining to the young people here is around 5L, loaded with money, living home, living in prison, love and lust, and loafing. So these are among the things that is, among others, the issue pertaining to the young people generally. So what we did is basically to provide space, safe space for them. So these are among the core values. The core value is focusing on the long-term impact, community-centering, innovative and futuristic, and emphasizing on values and character building, educate, not to condemn. So we have another segment, namely youth-adult partnership. So that's why in our movement, we have a student-based movement, consider them as a student activists. So we have a youth movement and the shuyukh movement, those who are above 40 years old. So they still need to be part of the society. So we have these three main entity whereby we have these three different layers, and every organization have their own initiative, program, and activities. Next. Okay, these are among the program that they provide to the community, Pendidikan Rakyat Initiative. And Alhamdulillah, we got some positive feedback from the GLCs and others. Basically, if we familiarize with the PPR area, so these are among the project, the space that we provide to them, to provide them after school, for them to relearn, and there will be a guided young activists who will be part of them in the community to do some activities. So next. This is overall our entity, our movement. I think hearing from previous speaker yesterday, when he mentioned about the importance to have education, health program related to people on the ground. So in ABIM in particular, we have this list of entity. We have school from the kindergarten, primary up to secondary, and inshallah we have now college, university, and the planning ahead to establish our own university under the name of University Darul Hikmah. And from this platform, in particular in education, we do many program and engagement with the people, especially in Malaysia. For instance, we give you some example. Next. These are among the program and activities that we have. Next. These are among the program that we have with the cooperation and collaboration with Dongzong, where we have this Camp Muhibah, and we understand that our school is mostly 100% is Muslim student. So I think it is important for us, even though they are coming from the education that belong to the Muslim organization, but they need to have this early experience dealing with multiracial society. So we are among the others, the propagation of peaceful coexistence, coexistence, one of the module that we try to propagate to our student in school in particular. And from this platform, I believe that the learning curve is there. So we need to have not only merely on the interfaith dialogue, but rather we need to have more engagement, more dialogue, life dialogue of life. These are among the things that we're trying to promote. Next. Some of the program, these are among the things that we're trying to encourage to the young people. So we have this product, namely Adab Grocer. So Adab Youth Garage, they basically provided a joint ventures program, the social innovative program, where the young people who came to the store, to the grocer, and basically they will somehow assisting the household, especially those who live in urban setting where they don't have much time to pay or to prepare for their foods, for lunch, for dinner and whatnot. So from Adab Youth Garage, they have this fresh market Adab Grocer, where the entrepreneurship, the initiative is to get the item, the tools, whatever homemade products, vegetable, fish and others from the public who stay nearby, and they are the one who basically providing a solution for the household in terms of getting their grocery to be sent to the home. Next. These are among the program that we have, alhamdulillah. During COVID time, I think with the help and assistance from Tan Sri Danzir Razak, Z Capital, what we did in ABIM is basically to have this idea to have a Dana Bangsa Malaysia. I think with the help of Brother Nat, I think with the previous leadership, what we did is to have this fund to assist Malaysian to start or to kick off back their activities, especially those who are already involved in entrepreneurial and they have difficulties to move on due to certain issues. So what we did is to give this microfinance for them, apart from giving assistance. So there is another initiative that we did, especially giving from trash to treasure, meaning it is not for those who receive the assistance. We will have what we call the goodies, whatever assistance that we have, but at the same time, in contra, what we need from them is to give us a recyclable item. So there will be a exchange of goods and things. They will receive an assistance fund, but at the same time, what we did and what we asked for the recipient is to give us recyclable items. So these are among the programs that we, alhamdulillah, managed to secure, and probably we need to have more engagement, perhaps with Yapim and other partners, if we could somehow be on the ground to assist and meet with the recipient. Next. Okay, next. These are the details. So apart from ADAP brochure, apart from having a microfinance, where we reach out to the recipient, especially among the B40, what we have and help those activists, youngsters to come to our center, is to provide them skills. So these are among the skills that we provide for them, Barber Adab Youth Garage. And alhamdulillah, throughout the whole bigger system, we are now trying to evolve in Muslim Youth Professional Network, Muslim Youth Network, Muslim Youth Professional Networks. So basically, these are the professional youth workers that we are trying to encourage. And this is basically above, beyond the age limit that have been set up by the government with regard to how we want to deal with the age, the reserve age from 40 years old to 30 years old. So meaning we still have members who are above 30 years old, but they are still involved in this kind of activity. So what we did is to have these Muslim youth professional workers to be part of this. And what we're trying to do as for now is to work closely with the higher institution like IPSAS, UPM, and other SKM. They will provide a certificate. This is basically one of the things that the young needed in terms of certified credential. They need somehow a testimony that whatever they did has been granted or has been rectified by the government. So what we did now is to work with Ministry of Labour, is it? Ministry of Labour, SKM, to provide a certificate for SKM level 1, level 2 or level 3. And for those who are basically involved for the past many years, let's say 10 years, probably our engagement with the public university, then we will have a specific degree of youth workers, degree of youth field and whatnot. So these are among the things that we work now, alhamdulillah. Next, I'm trying to have, these are the things, the pentauliahan, the one that we are trying to emphasize on Sijil Kemahiran Malaysia tahap 3. This is basically pelaksanaan kerja belia together with Jabatan Belia dan Sukan and JPK, Jabatan Pembangunan Kemahiran. Next. Okay, we move on to Global Peace Mission. These are among the things that we need to somehow emphasize on the reality of the young people, especially with regard to the issues that is happening now throughout the world. Somehow we afraid that we lose the humanity in our faith. We lose the humanity. We've seen all the tragedy because of our gadget in front of us. See what's happening now in Lebanon. People are clapping their hands because of the Iranian attack in Israel yesterday. So, what we see as a violence, perhaps for the past almost 1 year now, we tend to see that the hilang semangat atau sifat kemanusiaan. We tend to lose the humanity inside ourselves. So what we did now is try to propagate, to promote to our brothers and sisters. Yes, we know the global injustices, but we will somehow provide you a platform for you to be involved with our activities and our program. So these are among the programs that we alhamdulillah managed to do. Next, among others, is to give more to the society. So interesting to share with everyone of you here, there is a research made by World Cuff Index every year to see how much or how gratitude, how thankful a person in the country, how apa kita kata World Giving Index. Every year they will make an interview throughout every country in the globe. So what more interested for me is on the mechanism that they are asking. The one that they ask is on three things. First is how much is your time that you provide for you to do voluntary works. This is not how much time that you need to come for the program. So you're being forced to come to the event. No. So they ask you how much the time spent for you in a week for you to do a voluntary works first. Secondly, they are asking about how much is your what you call personal money for you to give a donation. So they are asking about that. And thirdly, they are asking you about are you helping others? You are helping others, but the one that you help is the one that you do not know. So basically, while we are assisting someone that we know, but the one they are asking you whether you are helping someone that the person we doesn't know at all. So hablum minallah, hablum minal alam is one of the things we tend to see from the perspective of a human as a human, but at the same time we look as well from other dimension with regard to the alam, the environment, the issue that is happening now on the climate emergency and whatnot. So this among the program, Love Initiative for Earth, the one that I'm sharing to you, from trash to treasure, meaning if we give assistance to those who are in need, but at the same time, we are asking them to give in return the recyclable items. Next. The one that we did, Alhamdulillah, in Sabah. I think if you're familiar with in Sabah, there are many pulau in Sabah, and of course, Kampung Laut. Most of the kampung that we went, I think the area is with all the plastic, with all the bottles. So Alhamdulillah, we managed to get almost 20 tons for that matters, for the program, for the recyclable item. So these are among the things that we need to encourage our people to be friendly with the environment. Next. These are among the campaign, Alhamdulillah, that we launched. Campaign Destroying the Earth is Again My Religion. So these are a part of what Professor Syed Khairuddin Al-Junaid mentioned about the consciousness of metropolitanism. Consciousness of metropolitanism, meaning we need to understand that we are now living in a country that is multiracial. We are living in the world, in ASEAN in particular, where we have a very diverse background of people, coming from various ethnicity and coming from various religions. So, inshallah, in 2025, Malaysia will be a chairman for ASEAN Chairmanship. Then probably I think it's good for us to start this initiative where we take the people or our activists not only within our own Muslim activists, but at the same time using as a religion platform to be part of this. I think me, myself, Haji Jamaluddin here, I think in the Jatan Kuasa Harmoni, I think in our last meeting with those leaders from various faith-based in Malaysia in particular, we did mention about this. If we can do something where we can invite the young or people who coming from various religion coming to the country, and we are doing something for the benefit of the Ummah. So next. This among the project that we have now is on, rather than touch and go program, we have a touch and stay program. The program is more sustainable in a way that we are trying to develop a human transformer and culture builder. So by providing this platform, I think we have brother from Bosnia. Yeah, I will share with you. Probably I don't know whether you have a photo of you during your childhood, because we have this particular program to assist refugees here in the country. These are among the programs that we do, especially assisting those who are in need, who are coming from the war-torn country. Next. Some of the project, these are the village that we established in Syria. Kita katakan ini adalah kampung Malaysia. So with the model of Masjid Negara in the middle of the city. So we are trying to build that. I mean, the program is already done. The model is there with the cooperation and collaboration with other entity coming together to be part of this meaningful initiative representing Malaysia. Next. This is with the Deputy Minister, Dr. Zulkifli Hassan, where, I mean, of course, in our neighboring country, especially Indonesia and others, this is basically a joke that I made. Somehow, if I ask our brother in Indonesia, I say, we are thanking Indonesia because in Malaysia we have this issue pertaining to LGBT. I mean, the understanding of LGBT for us is probably different. The lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender. So the LGBT, I mean, with regard to the natural calamities that's happening every year is likuifaksi, GB is gempa bumi, and T is tsunami. So these are all the package when it's happened to the country like Indonesia. Everything is gone. So these are among the projects that we do to have this project on the development after the incident. Next. This is in Palu, where we have this place for us to establish the program. With the help of our Muhammadiyah brothers who came here, our brother from Nahdlatul Ulama and some other agency that we work together on these matters. Next. These are among the program, the interfaith program that we have. We bring them all the way from Malaysia to Afghanistan. So of course, I think coming from Malaysia as a Muslim-based majority country, then those who are affected, I mean the country, basically they understand that we from Malaysia, we are representing the Muslim majority country. But at the same time, what we try to do is to get other brothers from different faiths to be part of us. I mean, be part of us doing something good for the humanity. Next. I mean, the dialogue here, I think we hear many issues related to issues masa. I mean, trying to play 3R issues and whatnot. So these are among the project. Alhamdulillah, I think we have Brother Mirza here from the Bosnia, Malaysia, Herzegovina Business Chambers. Brother Mirza, I think these are among the history. So I did mention earlier on the historical consciousness. What we now is doing is basically it's not new. Perhaps I think I saw many youngsters, our friends who basically said that these are the first initiative. These are the first that we are doing. Perhaps in our archive, we see many things that have been done by our brothers. I think especially during Dato' Sri Anwar time as a ABIM president, I think I saw many initiatives that they have done. I think lot more than what we have now. So this among the exemplary. When I met with Mufti Bosnia, Mufti Mustafa Sirik. So when I met him in Singapore, so I did mention that I'm coming from ABIM. I showed you the photo of this and he said, he thanked me. I mean, he thanked me and the rest of our brothers because of these issues. We are giving education. We are providing them, those who are in needs. I mean, yesterday, in fact, we have discussion how we can move on to assist Palestinians who are here, I think almost for 2-3 months now. So what we did now, alhamdulillah, we are continuing whatever initiative that we have. Next is the one that we have now on the initiative to provide education for the refugees under the name of Jasmine Asham. So you can Google it, you can go to our Instagram. And these are among the platforms that we give to for them, especially those who are still young. And we believe, inshallah, they will be like Brother Mirza here. The one that will be here is not only married with the Malaysian. I'm not sure whether you are married Malaysian or no, but they are the one who, inshallah, will be back the country, rebuild back the country. And they are the one who will be the leaders. Inshallah, we'll be traveling to Bosnia in October. I think Brother Mirza would definitely introduce me to all those members that we already have. So these are among the things, the goodwill that Malaysia have as a country that is affected. I mean, it's not only merely saying out loud in our international platform, but at the same time, we have this capacity to assist on the ground, in real time. So these are among the, alhamdulillah, program for the refugees here in the countries. Next. Okay, last. Will be last. I think last slide. Ada dah? Habis. Okay. These are among the refugees school, especially for the Rohingya. So with that, thank you so much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Brother Fahmi. I hope other panelists forgive me. This work that he talked about, I actually know personally, so I can't resist saying a few words. He mentioned the Camp Muhibah that he did with Dongzong. This is ABIM, Islamist organization working together with Dongzong. Is really quite something. And I actually attended the camp. It was really something you don't see every day. You know, if we had more of this, I think Malaysia would become very different. He talked about Adab Youth Garage. I've also been to Adab Youth Grocer. I bought things from there before in Bangi in the shop. I've seen about 3 or 4 of their after-school programs in the PPR. You know, these are really youth that are truly making a difference. And as you can see, also making very young people making a huge difference on the international stage. It's very impressive. So thank you for your work. Okay, moving on. We have probably in the public eye, the most famous of our panelists today, Mr. Ibrahim Sani, who was a long-time journalist on air, TV personality. He was very famous for grilling people. Don't worry, I'm very soft and don't grill anybody. But is currently the CEO of Yayasan Peneraju. So please welcome to the stage, Mr. Ibrahim Sani.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Wow, okay. Sorry, not. The first time I met Nat was in 2006. That was before my eldest, who is here with me today, was ever born. And then we started working together about the same time that she was born. That shows how far we have gone behind. We've gone back. Yayasan Peneraju is an agency under the Ministry of Economy. And the Ministry of Economy creates program designs to a point where we will now dispense the DevEx of the budget. So if we have 400 billion ringgit budget, 90 billion or so is going to be dispensed and disbursed out of Kementerian Ekonomi. And this development budget has to come together with good and sound program design to a point where it can create generational change. It's not just about building roads and bridges and schools, because that's what DevEx is for. It's also about creating program designs that can actually change humans, especially create leaders out of Malaysians' population. That is why it is imperative for Yayasan Peneraju to create program designs that can create future leaders. Because of this imperative mandate, we are now pivoting towards creating leaders, not just individuals with skills, but actual leaders. Now that is the main criteria of why we exist. And then we take a look into the problem statement that we face today. Many Malaysians, especially youths, have skills, but are not leaders. They can't, forget about leading organizations, they can't even lead their life. They are not even a leader of their own life. And then when we talk about leaders within organizations, many of them do not even understand that generational friction exists and it's normal and has been existing for thousands of years. Because today we keep on hearing boomers telling how they did things that millennials are not agreeing with them. And now millennials, by the way, kami semua ni millennial dekat atas meja ni, dekat atas sofa. Millennials are now 40 years old, yeah, my friends. And then you're so worried about Gen Zs. So worried, oh Gen Z gini, Gen Z gitu, Gen Z whatever. Do you know that the youngest Gen Zs are now 18? What we really need to worry about is the generation Alpha. So, sampai bila kita nak worry generation? It's normal for people, the older people, to accept that the younger people are doing things differently. And this has been recorded in millennia. For example, there is a hieroglyph carving of a priest inside a pyramid, you can Google this, that states that the youth of ancient Egypt is not listening to the priest of that time. This is a 3,000-year-old complaint. I literally am fighting with my CFO on WhatsApp while Fahmi is presenting. My CFO just told me her latest accountant who just joined us, dia baru je dapat ACCA, 22 years old, is doing things so problematic. She is presenting the financial report on Canva. And CFO complained sama saya. And she says that, since when are financial reports done on PowerPoint, let alone Canva? My CFO complaining to me literally 20 minutes ago is the same complaint that the ancient Egyptian priest was making 3,000 years ago. This is real. We have to accept that we are lacking leaders, but we also have to accept that generational friction exists. That, my friends, everybody in this room, is our problem statement. How are we defining leaders of tomorrow? Because if you want to build leaders, you have to ask yourself, what is a leader? And that is the problem statement that folks at Kementerian Ekonomi and Yayasan Peneraju is solving. The way we look at solving this is through 3 prongs. First is, we have to stop listening to industry. Because if you listen to industry, what they're going to ask is less wages, easier workforce to deal with, and lax ataupun simpler employment laws so that they can hire gig workers and not be accountable to them, not pay EPF, not pay insurance, and so on. Are they wrong for asking this? No. It's not wrong. If I have a business, I would ask the same thing. So we've got to stop listening to them. Number 2, are businesses important? Oh yeah, definitely. Very, very important. So important to a point where private sector employs 90% of employees right now. They form 90% of the employers, hiring 90% of the employees. Very important. But just because they are important, does that mean that we must evade the responsibility that we have for the community and just listen to the business? The answer is no. We have to listen to the community as well. The third thing that we have doing at Kementerian Ekonomi is try to create leaders that have a high social impact on community. Because if we are constantly chasing profits and increasing wages and chasing GDP and solving all these economic indicators, we are ignoring community impact. So, from problem statement tadi awal tadi, now we are explaining the method of how we are doing. Finally, I'm going to use about 3 minutes more, is talking about the thing that we are doing right now to solve this using our approach. First is, we are no longer giving skills training to our scholars, at Yayasan Peneraju scholars. We're no longer giving skills anymore. What we are doing is we have programs deliberately created to create leaders, and if it means them having to be reskilled, then we do it. Beza tu. Before the approach was, we have to have that young talent to have ACCA, contohnya. And then dah dapat ACCA, okay, khalas. Bye-bye, good luck. That was before. Today, what we're doing is, we have to create that young talent to be a leader based on this young talent's definition of what a leader should be. Once we understood what he or she is thinking what a leader should be, then we ask the same talent, would you need an ACCA qualification to go along with that? If tak payah, tak payah. That's how we approach at Kementerian Ekonomi and Yayasan Peneraju. The final idea here is, we are creating 3 types of leaders. Business leaders, professional leaders, and last kali, community leaders. And this is very important for me to share this story. At Yayasan Peneraju, the scholars are all Bumi Putras. And among the Bumi Putras that we give the scholarship includes non-Muslim Bumi Putra. There is a Kadazan Dusun non-Muslim Bumi Putra by the name of Alice that we gave a scholarship to. She is comes from a very poor family, B40 family, who has never seen development in their community. What we did was, we took her out of the equation, put her at a good school, gave her the scholarship for her to get ACCA certification, and when she graduated, she started off her salary at 4,000 ringgit at the age of 21. After 3 years, she is now a full-fledged member of ACCA, working at the Big Four in KL. her salary at 24 is now 8,000 ringgit. And she is now functioning as an accountant at one of the big fours, gaji 8,000 ringgit, working in KL. 2 years ago, she dropped off the map. Upon further investigations, we now realize that dia tak kerja in the sense of earning a salary. It turns out she has gone back to Kota Kinabalu and she is now doing accounting for SIB, the Sabah Church. Not just that, she is also doing accounts and bookkeeping for 2 other churches inside KK. Not only that, she's also doing bookkeeping for 2 masjid and 1 Gurdwara Sahib. Now, she is a community impactor and she is a leader in her community using the trainings that we have given through the programs that we have created for her. This is the type of youth leadership that we want coming out of Yayasan Peneraju and coming out of Kementerian Ekonomi. But there is a problem. The problem is that Alice became a community impactor by chance, not by design, by us. We did not design her to be a community impactor. We designed her to be a factory worker, except a highly paid factory worker in a highly fancy organization called an accounting big four, but a factory worker no less. What kind of leader are we creating? Takkan semua leader yang tertimbul daripada kita punya scholarship are by chance. That 90 billion I speak of cannot be spent deliberately to a point where benda yang terjadi terhasil dengan seadanya, bukan melalui program yang kita buat secara hakiki through deliberate measures. And that's why we are repivoting how we create leaders and how we spend DevEx money. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really love that Alice story. It's quite amazing. So she became an accountant, you trained her, and then she went to work for 3 churches, 2 mosques, and a Gurdwara. Wow.
And she could do that because she got married, so her husband is supporting the household. Of course, she also sells insurance for her own pocket money lah. But she works at these places for free.
It's amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it's very good. I love the way you talk about, we don't want to just do skills training the same way we've always done before. Even though we are in our 40s, hopefully we're still able to innovate just a little bit. Since 2006, that's great. It's great to have your daughter here with us. And you talked about, generational people cannot lead themselves. I so terasa sikit, sometimes I feel I cannot lead myself also. But is it you train so many accountants because Rabi Rafizi is also an accountant, or
this was created through Tan Sri Wahid. But you're right. The idea here is to train less accountants because we already have enough accountants. We have to train more in data science, data technology, data analysts, because we don't have enough of that.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, sir. So just now you also briefly talked about we have to stop listening to industry. So our next speaker is a titan of industry. When he mentioned that, I saw him smile to himself a little bit. Dr. Arif was educated in Boston University and the very prestigious MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, also in Boston. Had a very long and illustrious career in Petronas. If you all go to Petronas station and you see the settle, this is the man who made it all happen. And most recently, in 2020, he worked with TCS to set up Seed Lab, which is to nurture young talents in setting up social enterprises. And I think they've done 8 or more by now. So we'd love to hear from you, sir. Thank you very much. Please, warm welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning. Good afternoon. To prepare for this session today, so I thought let's understand or give a bit of understanding what is a social enterprise and why is it important that we nurture social enterprises. Right? So there was a report done by World Economic Forum, first quarter this year, trying to put the data together. How many social enterprises are there in the world? Siapa nak guess? Who's going to try and guess how many social enterprises are there based on the basic data that they got? Because the data quality is not that great. But putting it together, they said there's about 10 million social enterprises globally. All right? Mostly they're in the US, China, India. And then there is broken down by country. But the data on countries are not the latest data. They said Malaysia in 2018, by British Council data, we about 21,000. Thailand, 120,000. Indonesia, 342,000. Singapore, about 8,000. But these social enterprises, they are about 3% of the number of all businesses in the world, and they generate about $2 trillion in revenue. So at the same time, they create 200 million jobs, and they contribute 2% of the world GDP. So yesterday, today I reviewed the video on a talk given by Bapak Khairul, City Cop. He says, how would a country strive? Right? One of the key elements is to create businesses. Right? Because just to be employed is just one person, but if you employ somebody, then you can create jobs and create multiple, multiple impact. So social enterprises, they are enterprises. That means they are there to create value. The only difference is their priorities are profit and planet first, then profits. It doesn't mean that they are profit and planet, and that they are there, but they don't worry about making money. All right? So in 2019, at that time I was in Petronas, an organization like Petronas, we create a lot of value, right? So the question is, what else can we do to create a social impact? How do we solve social pain points, right, that's happening, at least in Malaysia, by leveraging digital and technology? Because a lot of the things that we see is happening today, especially now, given the advancement of also AI. What used to be impossible are made possible. Just think about things like, for example, in the past, you cannot be thinking about a fintech. A startup company, two guys decided to do a financial system and going to provide finance solution beyond banks. Right? So you see this mushrooming of ideas that can be converted and executed without high amount of money that has to be invested. Dulu we talk about businesses that you need to buy and add servers. Now they go into cloud. Right? Scalability is not an issue. So in 2019, I had a discussion with Girish, which is the head of the regional Tata Consulting in Singapore. This is where also Bapak Sharul says about what is critical is networking. Two like-minded people just come together and say, this is a pain point. What is it that we can do as an organization? So we said there was a model that TCS did in a small town called Nashik in India. That they come up with ideas and apply digital and technology and create new solutions. I said, okay, why don't we collaborate and do this in Malaysia? So in 2020, we started Seed Lab. June, which is here now, he's heading Seed Lab from day one. At that point, we put together 50 youth. Right? They are from multiple disciplines. Engineers, doctors, economists. below 30. And then we leverage on, at that point, the concept of design thinking. How do you get from ideation, right, to incubation and launch? How do you problem solve? In the first cohort that we did, the focus was only how can we solve the issue of unemployment within graduates. Then the first cohort, we generated 3 ventures. 2 of them are still there, Softnext and Temanin. The other one was Food Lab. So we created 3 new startups. And the second cohort, we created 5 new cohorts. 5 new ventures. And this looks after autism, mental health, OKUs, point of sale system for micro SMEs. Actually, not really micro, very micro, pico micro, SMEs. So, addressing social pain point, but the way it's done is so that at the end of the day, they are not dependent on just grants. They will actually be creating real economic model that can they be self-sustaining. So, essentially what we did was, let's take this fresh, ideas, people who see things from a different perspective. How can we then provide them the right ecosystem? We give them allowances, monthly allowances, so that they don't have to think about their monthly income. How can we then teach them about the best of the best? We get Tata Consulting. In the second cohort, we work with AWS and provide them the education to how do you take an ideas to incubation and to launch. At the same time, between Tata Consulting and Petronas, we have a network of partners, lawyers, financials, that can actually give them trainings for free as part of their own initiative to give back, that advise them on how do you set up companies. We connect them to people that can assist them to accelerate. How can they get their product to markets? So if you think about it, there is the belief that this youth is such a powerful set of people that's untapped. They have energy, they have ideas, but how do we channel these ideas and energy into something more productive and make an impact? So that's what Seed Lab is all about. So essentially, getting this group of people, put them, these are the social pain point that we are facing today. Let's go about thinking about how you problem solve this and leverage on digital and technology. And then we'll provide you the monthly allowances. Halfway, depending on the ideas, we provide you the grant to get you going. But more importantly, we'll provide you the platform and the network and the education to how to do this systematically. So, we are now running our third cohort with another 50. And inshallah, this cohort will graduate in the next maybe 6 months. The program is about 18 months. So the idea behind this Seed Lab was we wanted to create this in Petronas together with this. But imagine if we can create this within all the other companies in Malaysia. So Seed Lab in Petronas, Seed Lab in CIMB, Maybank, and everywhere else. So the whole idea is how can we create an ecosystem that will mushroom all the social enterprises that will actually assist the government and the businesses to solve this pain point. That's the, hopefully one day we'll get there, right? But it's so encouraging because the promises that we made in Seed Lab is Of course, we want them to be very successful social enterprises so that they make a lot of money and solve the social pain point. But the promise is, even if that doesn't happen, they will be so enriched because of the programs. That means they can go out there to become a leader of another outfit they want to set up. Somewhere that they actually can go and work and be confident of themselves. We've seen these kids grow within that span of 18 months from somebody that doesn't know how to speak well, shy, to be giving pitches, selling ideas, getting grants. We've seen them really literally grow in front of our eyes, not understanding financial numbers, to me commanding it, not able to do coding and start becoming a coder, being shy to meet, not knowing how to sell, selling. And the realization, the passion that they put in making this happen is amazing. So I agree, Ibrahim. I mean, it's not the youth that needs changing. They need to be empowered. They need to be given the tools, the education, all right, the ecosystem to let them strive. It's the people that's providing that needs to be changing. So a lot of people is asking me, what do you need to, how do we get the youth to do this? No, you need to change and connect with them so that you understand how they think, what matters to them, right? And empower them. Amazing things do happen, and we've seen that. So, and I mean, we would like to then, of course, expand this. I know there's a lot of other agencies that's doing, supporting social enterprises. But where SETLab wanted to make a difference is just not about a component of it. It's just not about education, or funding, or ecosystem, or the quality education, but to put it all in a whole integrated piece so that to make them successful, it's not easy, right? I mean, and how do we combine that with passion, then create beautiful new solution to potentially old problems?
Thank you very much, sir. I think it's a very astute. And I think especially your ideas about how, we're not here to impose our will on youth, right? This is not the way, right? It's a lot about creating the right kind of space, being able to how, there's no doubt that, youth have a lot more energy than people our age, right? I mean, not our, I can certainly feel it, right? I remember those days I used to be able to do all kinds of things. Now I'm feeling a little bit, but, I think what we do have sometimes is a little bit of experience, a little bit of, ability to help get them through that difficult initial period where they can run their own things, make them own sustainable. And if you have seed labs in Menyumbang, CIMB, all that would be truly great. So thank you very much, sir. Okay, we have Slido questions. Well, already started before I even said anything. I guess everyone knows how to work it. Very, very good. But yes, there's a QR code, or I think you can go to slido.com and put in this number, and then you can put in questions right there. And I think, I think this is a little bit open, but I guess it's a little bit more Ibrahim or Dr. Arif about the question. If you can see, it's right there on the board. So please feel free to jump in right away.
Okay, if I understand what the question is, you're saying why graduates, especially fresh graduates, nowadays hard to suit with industries. I'm not sure about suiting to the industries. I mean, if you look about, of course, the challenge is this, like, industries are looking for certain profile of employee. Employee is looking for a certain profile of industries. Just look at, for example, flexibility. Actually, orang dulu-dulu pun nak juga kalau boleh kerja from home lah. The wanting to work from home, or that flexibility of hours, has been there. Somehow, COVID enabled technology that facilitate this to happen in a very quick way. Now, so industries, I think, will also have to recognize the ecosystem of youth today are not like how they were before. Both parents working, small kids, the and your disposable income, if you talk about 4,000 ringgit salary today, that's pretty high, right? When I started work in 1984, I was paid 1,800. In the span of that 40 years, it only naik 2,000 je. So disposable income is low. So I think the industries will also needs to recognize this and create value proposition beyond just lifetime work.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I add? So again, this data is just Googleable. You can just Google away. Malaysian unemployment rate is at 3.3%. It's tick lower from 3.4%, but youth unemployment is dramatically lower now. In 2023, youth unemployment was 12%, 12.6% sebenarnya. Right now, it's at 6.5%. So the topic of why fresh graduates now are hard to suit with industries is not so much in terms of youth not getting jobs. Youth are getting jobs, in fact, more now than ever, because that youth unemployment has dropped from 12% to 6%. However, from the generation jump that we see for millennials, before they reach the age of 30, maknanya Nat, you and me, and Fahmi and all that, sorry, I have to exclude you from a millennial atau. When you say, when you started working in 1984, I diam, I tengok aja Nat. Sebab kami semua, macam itulah. So, jadi,
I was born already.
You born already. Okay. But I'm the one yang botak kan.
Getting there.
When millennials were before they reached 30, on average they jumped jobs twice. Millennials, maknanya myself. I was born in the 90s, tak nak lah out myself, my age kan. But when I was born between the ages of 1980 until 1990, we jumped jobs on average twice. Today, for Gen Zs, before they reach 30, they have jumped jobs on average 9 times. 9 times. And then you look at the subsequent questions. Kita boleh kalau ada moderator tu tengok. What challenges do youth leaders face in managing talent? Number one, hiring has to be very nimble now. Dulu, when you hire HR, they will spend time doing psychoanalysis, psychometric, trying to see IQ test, SQ test, social quotient, emotional quotient, as if you are hiring that talent for life. Chill, man. Your youth is going to leave you in, kalau kita tengok ni kan, about 11 months. 11 months. The youth employee that you are hiring on average will leave you in 11 months. And that's normal. You yang kena adapt to that. So challenges for youth leaders facing managing talent, number one, accept the fact that your young employees are going to leave you. That is how you manage your challenge. Number two, accept the fact that you're going to do hiring a lot more frequent, and the frequency is going to increase dramatically from now on. Dulu, if your company, let's say 100 people, you have to hire every year maybe 5 times. Now you have to hire 20 times because you have to accept the fact that on average Gen Zs are going to jump jobs before they hit 30 10 times, 9 times. Average tau, maknanya some are 13 times tau sebelum 30 years old. Okay, then finally we look at that last question too. How can youth-led movements mana tadi? How can youth-led movements make a tangible difference in long-standing societal issues, especially Muslim youth movement? This is very critical because accept the fact also that youth today is very Muslim-oriented, especially Muslim youth, very Muslim-oriented, or if you're not Muslim, non-Muslim, they are very community-oriented or religiously oriented towards their own religions. That gives them purpose and meaning. That's why they are aligning themselves to youth movement. Just now, Fahmi was mentioning, kenapa kita bersorak, Iran is bombing the hell out of Israel. We should be celebrating or seeking peaceful resolution, not enjoying the bombardment of one country to another. Because why? Our values are now different. Bombing does not equate to peace. Peace equates to peace. How do we seek that? We look for meaning. That's why youth today is looking for meaning in their community affairs and likewise meaning in their job purpose. When we did a survey with Merck says that one of the reasons why Gen Zs are leaving their workplace is because they find no purpose in what they do. That's why they leave. Conversely, youth, especially Gen Zs, continue to work in the same organization if they see meaning in what they do. Your job, my friends, is to provide meaningful context to youth that is working with you and working for you.
Thank you very much, sir. Very astute. So youth unemployment dropped from 12 to 6, huh? That's quite a, you guys are doing your job very well, that means. Very good.
Macro results.
I remember it used to be a very big problem in Malaysia, and that's quite a cut by half. This Slido is very good, so we can see all the questions at once. So the speaker, you can please feel free to choose which question you like to answer. We're quite flexible in this card.
If I may, I think Brother Ibrahim did mention clearly on, our experience dealing with young people, especially working with our so-called, we are almost the same age, like our brothers and sisters were doing something. So perhaps I think looking at various environment basically will somehow connote different result and different motivation towards that. I mean, for us in ABIM in particular, what we have is trying to leverage our experience. The way how we need to do is more to have more engagement, collaboration, and at the same time we have this connection, the notion of hikmatul shuyukh wa hamasati shabab. I mean, the wisdom from the elders and the spirit and we call the spirit of the young people. So the young people basically who have this idealism, we have this notion of looking, mencari kebenaran, keadilan, and how we want to basically combine with the experience with our elders. So these are among the things that we need to somehow need to ponder. But at the same time, for us, the way how we did, especially while we meeting with the young people, especially at the university level, we were asking them, is it okay for you to do mistake? Because this is the best time for you to learn from your mistake. Then after you graduate from university and then you entering a company and think switching company to a company 9 times is basically a question that we need to ask ourselves, our generation. So while we are doing mistake, then we learn something. Then these are among the things that we work while we have this experience dealing with those people who are on the ground. Basically, we need to have this moment while we be a student. Then we have this experience dealing with those who are underprivileged. But at the same time, you have this moment to have a discourse where you have this policy to submit whatever policy, whatever recommendation that we have to the proper authority. Yes.
Thank you so much, Brother Fahmi. Okay, we've got only about 6 minutes left. Maybe what we can do, we do one last round. Please feel free, there are a lot of questions there about Malaysian universities, innovation, and how to retain youth employees and things like that. Please feel free to pick whichever ones you like, and to make a wrap-up statement about 2 minutes or so, maybe starting from Dr. Arif.
You know, I worked for 37 years in a single company, right? If you say that to the youth, it says, it's crazy, it's crazy. But of course, the beauty about being in Petronas, because they're so huge, they can be in different areas of the businesses, which is not necessarily the same as in other industries or a company of different sizes. Now, when you talk about being a leader, there's two things. A leader means you got a follower, and then only you lead, right? So the clarity of where you're going, and it must be an interesting place, and you're able to rally people that they want to follow you. But there's a different thing. As Muslim especially, you're Khalifa. By default, you should have leadership qualities, right? Or leadership traits. And if you think about leadership traits, it connects to a lot of it life skills, judgment, decision making, communicating, networking, right? Thinking. So where we talk about this issue of universities, how much emphasis are there being put into life skills as against the technical skills? Is it equal emphasis, more emphasis, or just as a co-curriculum activities within school that they need to do just to get some points? I think the university needs to rebalance between life skills and technical skills. What will propel you moving forward in life is the life skills. If you're not able to articulate your ideas, you will never rise in the organization. If you're shy, you're not able to do this. If you're not able to synthesize things, you're not able to make decisions. You cannot build confidence. You cannot know how to network. You just become an engineer working for someone forever, ever. I can say that because I'm an engineer by background. Right? So I think the rebalancing of that is required in universities.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very quickly, I nak jawab satu soalan yang tadi Malaysian universities is addressing this. For MOHI requirement undergrad is 120 credit hours. Some public universities impose upon 140 credit hours, kadang-kadang 150 credit hours before you can graduate with a bachelor's degree with honours. And if you think about it, let's take the lower end lah, 120 credit hours before you can graduate with a university degree. 120 credit hours, the courses that instill leadership is 3 credit hours. Literally, it's called, and it's not even leadership, it's called philosophy and current issues, which is basically TikTok. TikTok will teach you what current issues are and will teach you the philosophy of the times. You don't need 3 credit hours for that. 117 credit hours is not on leadership. Now you're telling me, if that's going to work out, are we training people with a degree or are we training people who are leaders? Dari segi curriculum structure pun we have failed. Itu assuming students are staying for 3 years. Right now dropout rates is more than 30%. Tak ramai tahu ni. Dropout rates for Malaysian undergraduates is 30%. Highest ever in Malaysian history. 30%. 10 orang masuk kelas on first year, first day, by the time grad, tak ada dah. 70% je tinggal. I know for a fact during my time accounting at UIA, we started off with about 50% boys, 50% girls. By the time I graduate, 3 boys out of 100 girls. So you can imagine lah the selection choice I have kan for a wife. Other than that, there's no positive from that. Tak ada. Also, habis kerat jari lah kalau aku nak kahwin with another accountant. I will never marry an accountant. I'm already boring myself kan. So you could look at the impact on society where youth nak tengok satu YouTube video 5 minit pun susah. 30 seconds. I have a 10-year-old girl, my youngest. She couldn't even last 3 seconds on a TikTok video. Dia tengok zas. I'm like, adik, why so fast? Nah, boring. 3 seconds. You're expecting that daughter of mine yang 10 tahun tu to stay for 3 years for a degree? Let's be realistic lah, mana boleh. How about a degree program that takes 10 years to complete and maybe kalau kita bahagikan lah 120 credit hour over 10 years, that's 12 credit hours per year. Is that palatable for a child? I think it is. Can we accept the fact that students in Malaysia, masa habis SPM 17, 10-year degree program, he or she graduates at 27 with a bachelor's degree, in the process is trained at the workplace for industrial training while studying 12 credit hours a year. Why not? Maybe that will keep the dropout rate below 30%. Are we ready for it? Some countries are already doing it. Japan is doing it, especially industrial training. Germany is doing it for industrial training. Your SKM level 3 tahap 3 is one of the ways of us doing it, but accept the fact that sometimes for Malaysia, TVET boleh. tapi degree, tak boleh, dia kena masuk U. Masuk je lah, lepas tu 30% keluar. In, I don't know, 1 year. Tak boleh. We have to do things drastically differently. Tanyalah anak-anak muda kita nak apa. Kalau kita nak guna same method as Dato' Arif, susah. It worked during his time. Right now gaji 4,000 in KL, angkat tangan if you think mampu ke tidak, cukup ke tidak gaji 4,000 in KL. Siapa yang rasa 4? Angkat tangan, tunjuk sangat. 4,000 is not enough. Let's not kid ourselves lah. Especially when you're 25, baru nak nikah, baru nak buat rumah tangga, mana cukup. Laki bini 8,000 maybe enough. 4,000 solo, no way.
Correct. Thank you very much, sir. I like, so 10-year degree program. This is radical innovation, drastic ideas. I love it. Love it very much. Running out of time, so Saudara Fahmi, just 1-2 minutes.
To add one, our brother just now mentioned earlier, then when we referred young generation as the one who, as a connected, but yet disconnected. Connected in the sense that we, of course, we having our own platform, social media, whatever that we think, even though we are in very small room, then we are connected throughout the world. But at the same time, yet disconnected is more on engagement, more on collaboration, more on meaningful life. I mean, the one that we see on the ground, the see by ourselves is probably different what we see from our gadget. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1 p.m. I would once again like to thank all of our panelists. It was really, perfectly honest, a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be. But great ideas, would love to discuss it more. I think we have to break for lunch. So once again, thank you so very much. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us all.
Thank you, panelists. I would like to invite yang berbahagia